There is a moment when the unseen becomes seen, when the formless takes form, and what was once only imagined stands before you in full reality. That moment is now the promise you have held in the depths of your consciousness is on the verge of unfolding. The seed planted in the soil of your mind, watered by your faith and nurtured by your unwavering belief, is pushing through into the visible world. You do not need to beg or struggle, for all things already exist in the realm of the unseen. You are not waiting for something to happen. You are only to align yourself with that which is already yours. The very fact that you have desired it is proof that it is meant for you. Your longing is not a sign of lack, but a whisper from the infinite calling you to claim what is already prepared. To receive, you must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You must walk in the conviction that your miracle is not something to come, but something already present. Do not concern yourself with the how or when. These are not yours to manage. The bridge of incidents will unfold naturally, leading you to the very thing your heart has known to be true. The world will bend itself to reflect your inner state, and as you persist in the knowing, reality will conform to the certainty of your imagination. The promise has never been far from you. It is not outside of you. It is within you, waiting only for your recognition. The moment you fully accept it as done, the world will bear witness to its truth. The unseen will take shape, the impossible will become inevitable, and your miracle will no longer be a dream, but your living experience the moment you accept that. Finished, then all you seek is already yours. You step into the flow of the inevitable. You no longer struggle, no longer seek validation from the world, no longer look outside yourself for proof. The proof is within you in the deep and sacred, knowing that what you have imagined is not separate from you. It is you. The world you experience is simply the outpicturing of your inner state, and as you shift inwardly, the outermost. Follow, there's no power outside of you that grants or withholds. You are the operant power, the only creator in your world. What you assume is true hardens into fact. Every experience, every event, every so-called coincidence is merely the shadow of your inner consciousness taking. Nothing happens by chance. Nothing is random. There is an exact correspondence between the state you occupy within and the world you see. Doubt. So then what does it mean to be ready for your miracle? It means to walk as though you have already received it. It means to feel with certainty the joy, the relief, the gratitude of having it. Now do not wait for the evidence before you believe. Belief is the cause and evidence. The effect to say, I will believe it when I see it, is to put the cart before the horse, for all things are first seen within, before they are ever seen without. You must persist in this knowing even when the outer world seems to contradict it. When doubts arise, do not entertain them as if they have power. Acknowledge them, but do not dwell on them. They are merely remnants of the old, the fading echoes of a past assumption. They hold no power unless you choose to give them life. Every great manifestation in history, every so-called miracle, has followed this exact pattern. Those who So because they first knew within themselves that it was already so, they did not waver, did not question, did not wait for external confirmation. They assumed the feeling of their wish fulfilled and rested in that assumption, allowing the unseen to take shape. Your miracle is not far. It is not something distant, not something you must struggle for. It is already yours, waiting for you to claim it. The only question is, are you willing to accept it now? Are you willing to cast aside doubt, fear, and the illusion of time, and instead step fully into the certainty of your desire? Are you willing to assume that it is done even before the world has conformed to show you its truth? You do not need to manipulate circumstances to force things into place to figure out how your miracle will come to be. The means are not yours to determine. Your only task is to occupy the state of the wish fulfilled. When you do this, the bridge of incidents will unfold before you in ways you could never have planned or anticipated. People, events, and circumstances will rearrange themselves to bring your assumption into reality. For the world is but a mirror, reflecting back the state you dwell in most persistently. Think not of your miracle as something that must be earned. It is already given, already complete the moment you conceived it. It was finished. Your task is only to accept it, to live in the end, to feel the reality of it now, and to refuse to entertain anything that contradicts this truth. If you seek healing, do not wait to feel whole. Assume that you are already healed, that your body is already renewed, and let your consciousness dwell in that state. If you seek abundance, do not act from a place of lack. Walk as though wealth already surrounds you, as though you are already provided for in every way. If you seek love, do not look outward for validation. Know that love is already yours, that you are already cherished, already deeply connected. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot hold two opposing beliefs at once. If you affirm your miracle yet dwell in doubt, you delay its unfolding. If you persist in the knowing that it is done, the world has no choice but to yield. Time is an illusion and all things exist now. Your assumption, if held unwaveringly, collapses time and brings the unseen into view. The longer you entertain doubt, the longer you delay. But the moment you fully surrender to the truth of your desire's fulfillment, moment you let go of needing proof and instead live as though it is already. Because you step into the miraculous, there is no effort needed beyond this. No struggle, no striving, no pleading. Creation is finished. Everything you could ever desire already exists in potential, waiting only for your assumption to call it forth. The world is your canvas, your imagination, the brush. What you choose to see, what you choose to believe is what will be painted upon your reality. You are not bound by circumstances, by past failures, by the seeming limitations of the physical world. The only thing that limits you is your own belief, and belief is entirely within your control. Change what you believe, and the world will change to match it. So be as the one who has already received, speak as though it is already done. Move through your day with the quiet confidence of one who knows their prayer has already been answered. Let gratitude fill your heart, not as a plea, but as a natural response to the certainty of fulfillment. Your miracle is now. It is unfolding in perfect order and divine timing in the exact way that is most natural for you. You need only to accept, to trust, to remain faithful to the vision within you. The world is responding. The unseen is becoming seen. What once seemed impossible is now inevitable. Stand firm in your knowing, hold fast to your assumption. Live in the end and let the world catch up. The promise is unfolding and your miracle is already here. The world you see is but the reflection of the world within you. It has always been so, and it will always be so. The conditions of your life, the people you meet, the circumstances you find yourself in, all of it is simply the out-picturing of your inner state. If you desire to change the world around you, there is no need to manipulate external conditions. No need to strive, no need to push or pull at reality. The only work is within. Every transformation, every miracle, every shift in experience begins first, the unseen realm of imagination. The moment you accept this, the moment you stop looking outside for confirmation and instead look within for certainty, your world must change. It is law and it is unerring. What you accept is true within, express itself. Without, it is not a question of if, it is only a question of when, and the when is determined by the intensity and persistence of your assumption. Many falter not because they do not believe, but because they do not persist. They plant the seed of their desire, but instead of letting it take root, they dig it up with doubt. They wonder when it will happen, how it will come to pass if they are truly worthy of it. But the seed does not need your interference. It only needs your trust. A farmer does not stand over his crops and demand that they grow fast. He does not pull at the roots to check if they are sprouting. He plants, he waters, and he trusts. He knows that the laws of nature are certain, that the harvest is inevitable. So it is with your desires. The moment you assume them to be true, the moment you dwell in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the process has begun. There is nothing more to do but persist in that state, to refuse to be shaken by appearances, to rest in the knowing that that is. Your only responsibility is to remain faithful to the vision, to walk in the certainty that what you have imagined is already yours. To those who say, "But I do not see it yet," I ask, where are you looking? Are you looking to the world of form, the world of effects, to tell you what is real? Or are you looking within to the world of cause, where all things begin? The unseen is the reality, and the visible is merely its shadow. If you wish to change the shadow, you must first change the light that casts it. There's no such thing as an idle thought. Every thought you entertain, every assumption you accept, every feeling you dwell in is shaping your world. It does not matter whether you are conscious of it or not. Creation is always happening. You are always imagining something, always assuming something, always believing something. And whatever you persisted, whether wanted or unwanted, will happen. To fact, if you wish to receive your miracle, you must become conscious of what you are habitually imagining. You must take control of the inner conversation that runs ceaselessly in your mind. Are you speaking as one who has already received? Are you thinking from the end, feeding from the end, living from the end, or are you allowing old patterns of doubt, fear, and lack to dominate your inner world? You do not need to beg or plead for your desire to manifest. You do not need to convince anyone to prove anything, to seek permission from the world. All you need is to believe that it is already yours, to rest in the certainty that the unseen is just as real, if not more real than the seen. The world is fluid, malleable, shaped entirely by your consciousness. The moment you fully accept this truth, you will see the evidence of it everywhere. Some will say, but my circumstances are too difficult. The facts are against me. The world tells me it is impossible. But what are circumstances but the reflection of past assumptions? What are facts but the crystallized beliefs of yesterday? If you continue to accept the present conditions as unchangeable, then you will remain bound by them. But the moment you withdraw your attention from appearances and fix your mind upon the unseen reality of your wish fulfilled, the outer world must conform. It may not happen in the way you expect. It may not come through the channels you anticipate, but that is not your concern. The how is never your concern. Your only task is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and persist. In that assumption, no matter what, the world will rearrange itself in ways you cannot foresee. Doors will open where there were none before. People will appear at the right time in the right place, speaking the right words. Opportunities will arise seemingly out of nowhere. These are not accidents, not coincidences. They are the natural outworking of yourself. Function, but do not falter when the bridge of incidents begins to unfold. There may be moments when it seems as though nothing is happening, moments when circumstances appear to contradict your assumption. Do not be deceived by appearances. The delay is only an illusion. The old must fall away to make room for the new. What you see as obstacles are merely the necessary steps in the unseen process of fulfillment. If you persist, if you refuse to waver, if you remain steadfast in your knowing, then your desire must take form. You do not need to force anything. You do not need to strive. Your miracle is not something to be chased. It is something to be received. It is already yours, already complete, already done. The only requirement is that you align yourself with it, that you make it real in your imagination before it becomes real in the world. Live as though you have already received it. Feel the relief, the joy, the gratitude. Let your inner state be one of already having, rather than one of waiting. Waiting implies separation, and separation delays the manifestation. But the moment you accept that it is already so, the moment you move from desire to fulfillment, from longing to possession, the world must bend to reflect your new state. If you knew beyond all doubt that what you have imagined is inevitable, how would you live? How would you think? How would you speak? Would you still entertain fear? Would you still question? Would you still wait for the world to show you proof before you believed? Or would you walk with confidence? With this is the secret to receiving. It is not about forcing, not about effort, not about struggle. It is about knowing. Knowing that the promise is already kept, knowing that what you have imagined is not a future possibility, but a present reality. Knowing that the unseen is just as real, if not more real than the seen. And when you know this, when you live from this state, the miracle must come. The world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match the conviction you hold within it as law. It is inevitable. It is done. There is no force outside of you that determines what you can or cannot have. The only power is within, and it is your own consciousness. Every limitation you believe in is a self-imposed one. Every obstacle you perceive is but the projection of your own inner doubts. The moment you release those doubts, the moment you choose to accept only the truth of your fulfilled desire, everything changes. The world you see is not fixed. It is fluid. A mirror responding to your assumption. So long as you continue to look to the outside world for confirmation, you remain bound by it. But the moment you turn within the moment, you claim your power as the creator of your experience, you break free. You are not here to be ruled by circumstances. You are here to rule them. You are not a victim of fate. You are its master. The only thing required of you is to accept this truth and live by it. Many will say they understand this, yet they continue to waver. They imagine their desire fulfilled, but then they question, they doubt. They check their circumstances to see if there is any evidence when they do not see immediate proof. They allow fear to creep in, their old assumptions to regain control, and so they remain stuck in the same cycle, wondering why their desire has not yet appeared. But faith does not waver. Faith does not need proof. Faith knows that what is held firmly in the mind must externalize itself in due time. The seed that is planted does not instantly bear fruit, but the process has begun. It is growing beneath the surface, unseen, but inevitable. And just as no farmer digs up his crop in impatience, no conscious creator should doubt the unfolding of the assumption. If you were to completely abandon every doubt, every worry, every thought of separation from your desire, how quickly would it manifest? The only thing that stands between you and the realization of your miracle is the persistence of your old belief. But the moment you truly let go of them, the moment you rest entirely in the certainty that your wish is already fulfilled, time collapses, and the unseen becomes seen. There is nothing to force. You do not need to chase, to beg, to struggle. You need only to embody the state of fulfillment, to carry yourself as one who already possesses that which they desire. The feeling is the secret. If you would only take on the feeling of already having already experiencing that which you seek, the world would rush to make it so. But so many hold themselves back, they hesitate to fully step into the assumption of their wish fulfilled because they are still bound by the evidence of their senses. They are still conditioned by past experiences, by the limitations they have accepted as real. But what is real? Is it what the world shows you now, a reflection of past states of consciousness? Or is it what you claim within, that which you assume and persist in, regardless of appearances? To receive your miracle, you must shift your sense of reality. You must no longer see your desire as something distant, something that may or may not happen, something you must wait for. You must see it as now. You must know that the moment you accept it in consciousness, it is. Don't. This is not mere wishful thinking. This is not fantasy. This is the fundamental nature of reality. Everything in this world, everything you've ever experienced was once only a thought. The house you live in, the clothes you wear, the relationships you have, the very life you are living, all of it was once unseen, merely an idea, an assumption that became form. And if you examine your own life, you will see that this has always been true. The moment you fully accept something as true, the world shifts to match it. This has always been the case whether you were conscious of it or not, but now knowing this truth, you can use it deliberately. You can choose in every moment to dwell in the reality you prefer. Your miracle does not require effort. It does not require struggle. It requires surrender, the complete and total acceptance that it is already done. When you reach this state, there is no more questioning, no more seeking, no more. There is only certainty, a deep and unshakable, knowing that what you have imagined is real and that the world must reflect it. And when you arrive at this, knowing you will see it happen, you will watch as the world bends to meet you. The people, the circumstances, the opportunities, all of it will arrange itself perfectly. You will look back and realize that nothing was ever out of place, that everything was unfolding precisely as it needed to. Even what once seemed like obstacles will be revealed as stepping stones, necessary movements on the path to your fulfillment. Do not fear the unfolding. Do not resist the process. Your only job is to remain faithful to the vision, to persist in the knowing that your desire is already yours. It does not matter if the world has not yet shown you proof. It does not matter if appearance is contradicted. Those who receive are those who persist in their knowing, despite all else. Think now of the thing you desire most. See it in your mind, not as something distant, not as something hoped for, but as something already here. How does it feel to have it? How does it feel to know it is yours? Dwell in that feeling. Let it take root within you. Let it become your natural state. Carry yourself as the one who already has it. Speak as though it is already done. Think from the place of fulfillment, and as you do, reality will. The unseen will become seen. The promise will unfold before your very eyes. There is nothing more to do. There is nothing more to wait for. The time is now. The power is within you. The miracle is already here. All that remains is for you to accept it. You have been told that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. This is not a poetic statement. It is the foundation of creation. Faith is not hoping that something will happen in the future. It is knowing beyond all doubt that it is already so. It is not a desperate wish, nor is it blind optimism. Faith is the quiet, unwavering conviction that what you have conceived in your imagination is already a reality. And yet many falter because they allow the outer world to dictate their beliefs. They look around and see only what has been, only the reflections of past states of consciousness. They measure their progress by what their senses tell them. Instead of standing firm in what they know to be true within. But the outer world is always a step behind. It is always the product of a previous assumption. If you wish to change it, you cannot wait for confirmation from it. You must believe before you see, not after. Your imagination is the blueprint of reality. Every great achievement, every so-called miracle, every breakthrough has first been imagined before it became visible. The law is simple. Assume the feeling of your wish. Assist in that assumption and the world must conform. It is not a question of if, it is only a question of when. But the moment you entertain doubt, the moment you waver, you delay your manifestation. When you question, when you wonder if it is really working, when you look to the world for validation, you are stepping out of the state of fulfillment and back into the state of lack in the world. Being nothing more than a mirror reflects that lack back to you. If you would hold to your assumption, if you would refuse to be moved by appearances, if you would dwell only in the feeling of already having, already being, already experiencing, your desire would take form with absolute certainty. It is law, and it does not fail. The mistake so many make is thinking they must struggle. They must work hard. They must prove themselves worthy of their desires. But the truth is far simpler. You do not perceive what you work for. You receive what you. 2. The one who effortlessly assumes abundance will always have it. The one who assumes struggle will always struggle. The one who assumes love will always find it. The one who assumes rejection will always encounter. It is never about effort. It is about the state you occupy. If you would simply dwell in the state of your wish fulfilled, if you would make it real in your imagination and feel it deeply as though it were already here, the world would have no choice but to make it so. Nothing is denied to the one who persists. Nothing is impossible for the one who refuses to accept the limitations imposed by the senses. The moment you decide to see with the eyes of faith instead of the eyes of fear, the moment you choose to believe in the unseen more than you believe in what is currently visible, you will step into the miraculous, and do not think that this applies only to some and not to others. The law is universal. It does not favor one person over another. It is as impartial as the law of gravity. It does not ask whether you are deserving, whether you have worked hard enough, whether you have waited long enough. It simply responds to your assumption. If you believe that miracles are rare, they will be rare for you. If you believe that what you want is difficult to attain, it will be difficult. If you believe that you must struggle and strive to achieve anything, that will be your experience. But if you believe that the unseen is just as real as the seen, if you accept that your desires are already fulfilled the moment you claim them, then the world must conform to this knowing. Your work is not to manipulate circumstances. It is not to force things into place. Your only work is within to assume, to believe, to feel, and to persist. The how does not matter. The when does not matter. The only thing that matters is your certainty. And what does it mean to be certain? It means you no longer ask, you no longer wonder, you no longer question, you rest in the knowing that it is done. You carry yourself as the one who already has it. You feel the relief, the gratitude, the joy, as though it were already here. And when you do this, time collapses and the unseen becomes seen. But so many get caught in trap of waiting. They tell themselves that they will believe once they see the first signs, that they will feel grateful once they receive. But this is not the way of creation. You must feel now. You must assume now, and if you do, if you truly live from the end, if you refuse to entertain anything that contradicts your desire, you will see the world transform before you. The doors that once seemed closed will open effortlessly. The obstacles that once stood in your way will dissolve. The opportunities you once thought were impossible will appear as if by magic. But it is not magic. It is simply the outpicturing of your own state of consciousness. This is the secret that has been known by all who have ever achieved the seemingly impossible. It is not luck. It is not coincidence. It is not chance. It is law, and the law is as simple as this. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, persist in that feeling, and it must become your reality. It is already done. The moment you accepted your desire and imagination, it was finished. Your only task now is to remain faithful to this truth. Do not waver. Do not allow appearances to deceive you. Do not let doubt take. Simply know that it is done and let the world prove it to you. And when the world does, when you look around and see the evidence of what you once only held in imagination, you will realize that you have always had the power. You will understand that creation is finished. that all things already exist and that you need only to align yourself with that which you seek. So walk as the one who already has it. Speak as the one who already knows. Think from the place of fulfillment, and as you do, watch as the miracle unfolds before your very eyes. It is inevitable, it is low, it is done. You are the cause and the world is the effect. The moment you truly grasp this, the moment you understand that nothing comes into your experience except through your own assumption, you will no longer be at the mercy of circumstances. You will no longer wait. You will no longer doubt, and you will no longer question. You will simply know. And in that knowing you will rest. You will move through the world with a quiet confidence and inner stillness that is unshaken by appearances. You will cease looking for signs, for you will understand that signs follow. They do not precede. You will no longer ask how, for you will understand that the how is not your concern. The bridge of incidents will unfold in its own perfect way, and all you must do is remain faithful to the state of fulfillment. But so many cannot let go. They hold tightly to their old assumptions, clinging to the belief that they must struggle, that they must earn, that they must prove themselves worthy. And as long as they believe this, the world will reflect it. It is not that the universe withholds it, it is that they have not yet claimed what is already theirs. Nothing is being kept from you. There is no force that decides whether or not you receive, the only thing that determines what you experience. Persist in assuming, and the moment you assume something different, the moment you choose to occupy a new state, the world must shift to match it. Some will say, but I have imagined my wish fulfilled, and yet I see no change. But to this I ask, have you truly persisted? Have you truly remained faithful? Or have you allowed doubt to creep in? Have you, in moments of frustration, slipped back into the old state? Have you entertained the thought, even for a moment, that maybe it is not working for? If you have done so, you have delayed your manifestation. The law does not fail, but it demands unwavering persistence. It demands that you hold to your assumption, no matter what the outer world shows you. It demands that you refuse to be moved by anything except the truth you have accepted within. And if you would do this, if you would stand firm in your knowing, if you would dwell only in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you would see the evidence unfold before you. You would witness the outer world rearrange itself to reflect your inner conviction. But the waiting mind asks when. The doubting mind asks how. The fearful mind asks what if. And each of these questions only serves to reinforce the idea that your desire is not yet yours. Each moment spent in waiting is a moment spent in lack. Each moment spent in doubt is a moment spent in separation from your miracle. You must let go of time. You must let go of process. You must let go of every thought that suggests that your desire is something far away, something uncertain, something that requires effort. It is already done. It is already complete. It is already here. And when you fully accept this, when you no longer look to the world to confirm it, but instead move through life as though it is already so, you will see how swiftly reality bends to meet you. The miracle is not in the manifestation itself. It is in the moment you shift your consciousness to accept it as already real. The manifestation is merely the inevitable result of that shift. But those who dwell in fear will see reasons to fear. Those who dwell in doubt will find reasons to doubt. Those who expect difficulty will encounter obstacles at every turn. The world does not test you. It only gives you back what you are conscious of being. If you wish to see change, then change within. Assume a new state, occupy a new consciousness, feel a new feeling. And as you do, the world will mirror it back to you with precision. It cannot do otherwise. This is why struggle is unnecessary. This is why effort is futile. The moment you accept that you are already the person you wish to be, the world will confirm it. The moment you move from wanting to having, from seeking to knowing, from hoping to certainty, the thing you desire will come to you effortlessly. But you must make a firm decision. You must choose once and for all to live from the end. You must decide that your wish is not something you will one day experience, but something that is yours now. And once you have made this decision, you must refuse to entertain anything that contradicts it. Do not speak of delay. Do not dwell in frustration. Do not look to the world for validation. Simply assume, feel, and persist. Walk through life with a quiet assurance that what you have claimed within will soon be visible without, and when it happens, when you see it unfold before you, you will not be surprised. You will not be in awe. You will not marvel at how it came to be. You will simply nod in quiet knowing, for you will understand that it could not have been otherwise. The world is responding to you now. The process has already begun. The only question is, will you persist? Will you refuse to waver? Will you stand in your conviction no matter what appears before you? For if you do, if you hold fast to your assumption with absolute certainty, then nothing in the world can keep your miracle from you. It is already yours. It has always been yours, and the moment you fully accept this truth, it will be made manifest. You must remember that creation is finished. Nothing is being formed in the future. It already exists in its entirety, waiting only for you to step into the awareness of its reality. The only thing that separates you from your desire is the belief that you are separate from it. The moment you accept that it is already yours, the illusion of time collapses and the world moves to bring it into your experience. The mind, conditioned by the senses, struggles to grasp this truth. It wants evidence, it wants proof. It wants the world to change before it believes. But this is not how creation works. You must first believe, you must first accept. You must first assume the outer world is always secondary, always a reflection, always an effect. The cause is within you, and it has always been within you. Think not of your miracle as something far away, something that is coming to you. Think of it as something already here, something already yours, something you are now aligning with. The moment you shift your perspective in this way, the waiting ceases and the receiving begins. You have never lacked anything. You have only ever lacked awareness of what is already yours. The moment you recognize that you and your desire are one, that you are not separate from it, that you do not need to earn it, fight for it, or struggle to attain it, the world will move in ways beyond logic to deliver it into your hands. The mind may resist this. It may try to pull you back into old assumptions, old fears, old doubts, but you must hold fast. You must persist. You must remind yourself, moment by moment, that you are already the person you wish to be, that you already have what you seek, that the world is merely catching up to your new state of. And when you feel the urge to check, when you feel the impulse to look for proof, remind yourself that the proof is within you. The outer world will only ever reflect what you have accepted within. If you wish to see change, you must first embody that change. Internally, if you wish to experience a miracle, you must first believe in its inevitability. Nothing in the world is more powerful than your assumption. No obstacle, no circumstance, no history, no so-called limitation can override the simple law that what you assume to be true will be made. The only thing that delays your miracle is the wavering mind, the divided attention, the unwillingness to fully commit to the reality you desire. You do not need to convince anyone. You do not need to explain yourself. You do not need to seek validation from the world. The moment you claim your desire is already fulfilled, the moment you decide that it is done, you have set a process into motion that cannot be stopped unless you choose to stop it. And so you must live. In the end, you must embody the feeling of already. You must speak as though it is done, act as though it is done. Move through life with the quiet certainty that it is done, and as you do, the world will shift to match your conviction, but many hesitate. They allow themselves to be swayed by appearances. They allow the outer world to dictate their inner state, but this is not how the law works. The world does not change. First you do, and when you do, when you assume your desired reality as your present reality, the world must reflect it. There is nothing complicated about that. There is no force outside of you deciding whether or not you are worthy. There is no external judge determining what you can or cannot have. There is only your assumption, your belief, your conviction. You are already that which you see. The moment you stop looking outside yourself, the moment you stop waiting for signs, the moment you decide to see yourself as already in possession of your desire, the world will confirm it. And when it happens, when your assumption hardens into fact, you will realize that it was never about the manifestation itself. It was always about you. It was always about your ability to hold faith in the unseen, to persist in the face of doubt, to claim what was already yours. The greatest barrier to receiving is the illusion of waiting. The belief that you must wait implies that what you desire is separate from you, that it is not yet yours. But the truth is that it has always been yours, and the only thing that can keep it at a distance is the assumption that it is distant. You must assume now, you must feel now. You must walk in the reality of your fulfilled desire now. And when you do, the world must bow to your assumption. And so the question remains, Will you persist? Will you hold firm in your knowing? Will you refuse to be moved by appearances, by time, by the illusion of separation? For if you do, your miracle will not be something hoped for. It will be something experienced. It will be something lived. It will be something undeniable. The choice has always been yours. It will always be yours. And the moment you choose to accept your desire as already fulfilled, the world will make it so. And so the truth remains unchanged. You are the creator of your experience, the master of your reality, the operant power in your world. Nothing stands between you and the fulfillment of your desires, except the belief that something does. The moment you cast aside doubt, the moment you cease looking to the outer world for validation, the moment you claim your miracle is already yours, it must come to pass. There is no waiting. There is no struggle. There is no force outside of you that must grant you permission. You are not bound by circumstances, by history, or by the opinions of others. The only thing that determines what you experience is what you assume to be true, and so will you persist. Will you hold to the reality of your wish fulfilled, even when the world suggests otherwise? Will you choose in every moment to live from the end, to embody the feeling of already having? For if you do, there is no power in existence that can keep your miracle from you. The promise is unfolding. The unseen is becoming seen. That which was once only imagined is now making its way into form. Walking confidence and certainty and quiet, knowing for it is done. It has always been done. And the moment you accept this fully, the world will rush to show you what has always been yours. Consider for a moment what are circumstances. They are but shadows, fleeting images projected onto the screen of space by the light of your consciousness. They have no substance of their own. They are dead, powerless things until you breathe life into them through your attention. I tell you with absolute certainty that the whole vast world is yourself pushed out. Every circumstance, every condition, every person you encounter is but yourself in a different guise. When you truly grasp this, you will understand that to change your world, you need only change yourself, your inner talking, your assumptions, your feeling about yourself. Let me share with you what I mean. Many of you sit here tonight surrounded by circumstances you do not desire. Perhaps you face financial lack, illness, loneliness, or unfulfilling work. And you say to me, but Wayne, these are facts. How can I deny what my senses show me? I say to you, facts are but the fruit of past assumptions. They have no power to perpetuate themselves unless you continue to water them with your attention. You see, consciousness is the only reality. When you fully grasp this truth, you will know that circumstances are not the cause. They are the effect. Your inner conversations, your feeling about yourself, your assumptions, these are the cause. Change these, and you must change the outer picture. Let me tell you something profound. Your consciousness is God, not a God in some distant heaven, but the only God. The one and only creator of your experience, I am, is God. When you say I am, you are proclaiming the name of God. And whatever you attach to that mighty name becomes your reality. Now, many of you have been taught to look at circumstances and let them dictate your inner state. This is living in complete opposition to the divine pattern. You have taken the shadow for the substance. You have given power to powerless things. Tonight, I tell you, stop it. Stop it now. Instead, I urge you to live from the end. What do I mean by this? I mean to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. If you desire wealth, you must feel wealthy now, regardless of your bank account. If you desire health, you must feel healthy now, regardless of the doctor's report. If you desire love, you must feel loved now, regardless of your current relationships. For you see, feeling is a secret. It is not enough to merely think about your desire or to speak words of affirmation. You must feel it real. You must clothe yourself in the feeling of the wish fulfilled until it becomes your dominant state. Let me share a principle that has transformed countless lives. Whatever you assume to be true, if persisted in, will harden into fact. This is an immutable law. It cares not whether your assumption is good or bad, positive or negative. It will work with the same mathematical precision either way. Consider this. Right now, in your imagination, You can step into the state of your wish fulfilled. You can feel it real. You can sleep in that state tonight. And as you persist in this feeling, the outer world must reshape itself to match your inner assumption. It has no choice, for the outer world is yourself pushed out. I tell you, circumstances are like clay in the hands of your consciousness. They have no fixed reality. They are fluid, malleable, responsive to your inner state. But you must withdraw your attention from the unwanted circumstance. Give it no power. Grant it no reality. Instead, place all your attention on the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Lie from that state. Sleep in that state. Let that be your reality. For whatever you feel is real, the outer world must confirm. Let me tell you of the law that governs all manifestation. Imagination creates reality. Not sometimes, not occasionally, but always. Every moment of your life, you are using this law, whether consciously or unconsciously. Your present circumstances are the result of your past imagining. But here is the liberating truth. You are free to change your imagining at any moment. You are free to assume a new state. You are free to feel a new reality. And as you do, the outer world must follow suit. Many of you say, "But Wayne, my circumstances are too powerful. They overwhelm me." I say to you, circumstances have only the power you give them through your attention and belief. They are like scenes in a movie. Would you sit in a theater and believe that the images on the screen have power over you? Of course not. Yet you do this very thing with the circumstances of your life. Remember this, your attention is your life. Whatever you place your attention upon, you give life to. Whatever you withdraw your attention from must wither and die in your world. This is the law. So I tell you, withdraw your attention from unwanted circumstances. Give them no life. Instead, place your attention fully and completely on the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Live in the end. Feel it real. And watch as the outer world reshapes itself to match your inner assumption. Let me share with you a profound secret. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the secret of creation. God's name is I Am. Whatever you attach that mighty name, you give life to. When you say, "I'm poor," you are creating poverty. When you say, "I am wealthy," you are creating wealth. But it must be felt, not merely spoken. Your inner conversations are creating your reality. What are you saying to yourself throughout the day? What assumptions are you making about yourself and your world? These inner conversations are more important than any outer action you might take. For you see, action does not produce the state of consciousness you desire. Rather, the state of consciousness produces the corresponding action. Change your state of consciousness, and the actions that lead to your desire will flow naturally and effortlessly. I tell you this, circumstances are powerless to prevent the fulfillment of your desire if you will but assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and persist in that assumption. The whole vast world will conspire to assist you when you live from the end. Consider this: every moment of your life you are in a state. You may be in a state of wealth or poverty, health or illness, love or loneliness. And whatever state you are in has its own internal logic, its own inner conversations, its own assumptions about what is possible and what is not. But you are not bound to any state unless you consent to remain in it. You are free at any moment to move to a new state. How? By assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, by living from the end, by making your desire state more real to you than your present circumstances. Let me tell you something that you understand. Your present circumstances are nothing more than your past thoughts and feelings made visible. They have no power to create your future unless you continue to think and feel from them. Instead, you must think and feel from the end. If you desire wealth, you must think and feel as a wealthy person would. If you desire health, you must think and feel as a healthy person would. If you desire love, you must think and feel as a loved person would. This is not pretense or self-deception. This is the creative use of imagination, which is God in action. For imagination creates reality. This is the law. Many of you say, "But Wayne, how can I feel wealthy when my bills are unpaid? How can I feel healthy when my body shows illness? How can I feel love when I am alone?" I say to you, you must be willing to deny the evidence of your senses and live entirely in the feeling of your wish fulfilled. For you see, your senses show you only the world that was the fruit of past assumptions. They cannot show you what can be, only imagination can show you that. And imagination, being God in you, is more real than any sensory evidence. Let me share with you a principle that will transform your life. What you feel is real in effect. The outer world must conform to your inner feeling. This is law, but you must persist in the feeling. You must not be like the man who, having prayed for rain, goes out carrying an umbrella but soon discards it because he sees no clouds. Instead, you must be like the man who, having imagined the end, lives completely in that end regardless of appearances. He knows that appearances are shadows having no power of their own. He gives his attention and allegiance only to the desired end, knowing it must externalize itself in his world. Consider this: every moment of time is a door through which your assumption might pass into manifestation, but you must feel it real. You must live from it. You must sleep in the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled. For sleep, my dear friends, is the time when your assumptions are impressed most deeply upon your subconscious mind. As you fall asleep, feeling your wish fulfilled, you are engaging the creative power of the universe to bring your desire into manifestation. Let me tell you of the power of persistent assumption. Whatever you assume to be true, if persisted in, will become your reality. This is not positive thinking or wishful thinking. This is the creative power of God in action, for you are God in expression. Your consciousness is the only reality. Whatever you are conscious of being, you become. This is the law, but you must persist in your assumption until it feels natural to you, until it becomes your predominant state of consciousness. Many of you fail in your desires because you do not persist. You assume the feeling of your wish, fulfilled for a moment, but then return to your old state when circumstances appear unchanged. I tell you, circumstances are the last to change. They are the fruit, not the root. The root is your consciousness, your feeling, your assumption. Change these persist in the new assumption, and the circumstances must change. They have no choice, for the outer world is yourself pushed out. Let me share with you a secret of manifestation. Your desire is already fulfilled in what I call the fourth dimensional world of consciousness. Your task is not to make it happen, but to match your feeling state with its fulfillment now. For you see, time is purely psychological. The future exists now in your consciousness. By feeling your desire is fulfilled now, you are actually moving into that future state. You are claiming it as present fact in your consciousness. Remember this: the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the secret. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when circumstances change, but now. Feel it real now. Live from that feeling now, sleep in that feeling now, and watch as the outer world, which has no choice but to express your inner state, begins to reshape itself to match your assumption. This is the law, and it cannot fail. Let me tell you something profound about the nature of consciousness. It is the only reality. Everything you see, everything you experience, is but the out-picturing of your states of consciousness. Change your consciousness, and you change everything. But you must understand this: consciousness is not mere surface thinking. It is not affirmations or positive thinking. Consciousness is the sum total of your assumptions, beliefs, inner conversations, and most importantly, you're feeling out yourself and your world. To master your reality, you must master your consciousness. You must become deliberate in what you accept as true. You must become selective in what you give attention to. For whatever you give attention to, you give life to. Consider this: every moment of your life you are accepting certain things as true. You are having inner conversations that support these acceptances. You are feeling certain things about yourself and your world. This is your state of consciousness. But I tell you this, you are free to change your state at any moment. You are free to revise your inner conversations. You are free to assume a new feeling about yourself and your world. And as you do, the outer world must conform to your new assumption. Let me share with you the secret of living from the end. It is to completely ignore present circumstances while maintaining the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This requires spiritual maturity. It requires the ability to deny the remnants of your senses and live entirely in the reality of your assumption. For you see, circumstances are only facts if you continue to give them attention and believe in their reality. The moment you withdraw your attention and place it fully on your desire fulfilled, circumstances lose their power to persist. Remember this, your attention is your life. Whatever you place your attention upon grows in your world. Whatever you withdraw your attention from must wither and die in your world. This is the law. So I tell you, give no attention to unwanted circumstances. They are shadows having no substance of their own. Instead, place all your attention on the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Live from that feeling. Sleep in that feeling. Make it more real to you than any sensory evidence. Let me tell you of the power of assumption. It is literal in its working. Whatever you assume to be true, whatever you feel is real, must externalize itself in your world. This is not magic or mysticism. This is the law of consciousness. But you must persist. You must not be like those who assume their desire for a day or a week and then return to their old state when circumstances seem unchanged. Remember, circumstances are the last to change. They are the fruit of your assumption, not the cause of it. Consider this. Every moment of your life you are in a state, and whatever state you are in has its own inner talking, its own feeling tone, its own set of assumptions about what is possible and what is not. But you are not bound to any state unless you continue to occupy it through your attention and feeling. You are free at any moment to move to a new state. How? By assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled and persisting in that assumption until it becomes your dominant state. Let me share with you a principle that few understand. The outer world is dead, powerless until you animate it with your consciousness. It has no power to create your future unless you granted that power through your attention and belief. Instead of accepting the outer world as cause, recognize it as effect, the effect of your past assumptions and beliefs. Then turn your attention to the feeling of your wish fulfilled, knowing that this new assumption must in time become your outer reality. Remember this, consciousness is the only reality. What you are conscious of being, you become. This is the law. But you must be constant in your assumption. You must not waver between states. For you see, the law is impersonal. It does not care whether your assumption is positive or negative, constructive or destructive. It will work with equal precision either way. Your task is to choose wisely what you will assume, and then persist in that assumption. Let me tell you something profound about the nature of desire. The very existence of a desire indicates the existence of the means for its fulfillment. For desire is guarding you, urging you to express more of what you truly are. But you must understand this, the fulfillment of desire comes not through outer action, but through inner assumption. Change your assumption about yourself and your world, and you change everything. Consider this, every moment of your life is a fresh opportunity to assume a new state. You are not bound by your past unless you choose to be. You are free at any moment to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and live from that assumption. This is the end of my message to you tonight. Remember, circumstances have no power over you unless you grant them that power through your attention and belief. Live from the end. Feel it real, persist in your assumption, and watch as the outer world reshapes itself to match your inner state. For this is the law, and it cannot fail. You are the operant power in your world. You are the God of your universe. What you assume must externalize itself in your world. Choose wisely what you will assume and persist until it becomes your reality. The power is within you. Use it wisely, use it lovingly, use it now. The world you see around you, the circumstances of your life, the very fabric of reality, all of it is but a reflection of your own consciousness. You are not a victim of your environment, but its creator. Every experience, every person, every object in your world is there because you have called it forth from the depths of your imagination. Consider for a moment the immense power that resides within you. The power to shape worlds, to manifest desires, to literally bring your dreams into tangible form. This power is not something external, not something to be gained or achieved. It is your very essence, your true nature, waiting to be recognized and embraced. Many will scoff at this idea, clinging desperately to their belief in limitation and struggle. They have been conditioned to see themselves as small, powerless beings at the mercy of an indifferent universe. But I tell you now with absolute certainty that this is the grandest illusion ever perpetrated upon humanity. You are not separate from the source of all creation. You are that source, individualized and expressing itself through the unique form that you call I. The I that you truly are is not the body you inhabit or the personality you constructed. It is the infinite, eternal awareness that animates all of existence. This awareness, this I am, is the foundation of all that is. It is the clay from which all experience is molded. And you in every moment are the sculptor. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your deepest convictions, these are the tools with which you shape your reality. Consider carefully the implications of this truth. If you are the creator of your world, then you hold within you the power to recreate it in any way you choose. The limitations you perceive, the obstacles you face, the lack you experience, all of these are but shadows cast by your own beliefs. To change your world, you need only change your conception of yourself. This is the great secret, the hidden wisdom that has been whispered through the ages. You are not what you appear to be. You are not your body, your thoughts, your emotions, or your circumstances. These are but costumes you wear, rules you play in the grand drama of existence. Your true identity is that of the dreamer, not the dream. You are the awareness in which all experience arises. And just as a dreamer can change the course of a night's vision, so too can you alter the very fabric of your waking reality. But how, you may ask, can one accomplish such a feat? The answer lies in the power of your imagination. Your imagination is not some frivolous fancy, a mere escape from reality. It is the very workshop of creation, the place where classical possible takes form before manifesting in the physical world. When you imagine, you are literally shaping the substance of the universe. The images you hold in your mind, the scenarios you play out in your imagination, these are the blueprints from which your future is constructed. This is why it is said that imagining creates reality, but it is not enough to merely visualize or daydream. To truly harness the power of your imagination, you must learn to feel the reality of your desire. You must enter so fully into the state of having your wish fulfilled that it becomes more real to you than your present circumstances. This is the art of living from the end. It is the practice of assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, of experiencing now what you desire to experience in the future. When you master this art, you will find that the universe rearranges itself to accommodate your new conception of reality. Many will dismiss this as mere positive thinking or self-delusion, but I assure you it is neither. It is the fundamental law upon which all creation operates. Just as a seed contains within it the pattern of the fully grown plant, so too does your imagination contain the pattern of your future experiences. The world you see around you now is the harvest of seeds planted in your imagination in the past. If you do not like what you see, then you must plant new seeds. You must cultivate a new age in your world, in the fertile soil of your mind. This is not a process that requires struggle or effort. In fact, the harder you try, the more you reinforce the belief that what you desire is difficult to attain. Instead, you must relax into the knowing that what you seek is already yours. Imagine for a moment that you are living in the end, that your desire has already been fulfilled. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the sense of accomplishment that comes with having what you want. Let this feeling permeate every cell of your being. Breathe it in. Let it fill you completely. As you do this, you align yourself with the vibrational frequency of your desire. You become a perfect match for what you seek, and in doing so, you draw it into your experience. This is the law of attraction in its purest form. But remember, it is not the thing itself that you seek, but the thing that you believe the thing will give you. All desire is ultimately a desire for a state of being. You do not want money for the sake of people or digits in a bank account. You want the feeling of abundance, of freedom, of security that you believe money will provide. Once you understand this, you realize that you need not wait for anything external to change in order to experience what you desire. You can assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled now in this very moment. And as you do, you will find that the external world begins to shift and change to match your internal state. This is the true meaning of faith. It is not a blind belief in something outside of yourself, but an unshakable knowing of the power within you. It is the confidence to live from the end, to experience now what you desire to experience in the future. Most people live their entire lives never realizing this truth. They believe that their thoughts and feelings are reactions to the world around them, never understanding that the opposite is true. Your thoughts and feelings are the cause, not the effect of your experience. This is why most will ignore this message. It requires a complete reversal of everything they have been taught to believe about themselves and the nature of reality. It demands that they take full responsibility for their lives, relinquishing the comfort of victimhood and replacing their role as the author of their own story. But for those who are ready, for those who can feel the truth of these words resonating in the depths of their being, this message holds the key to unlimited possibility. It is an invitation to step into your true power, to claim your birthright as a creator of worlds. Imagine for a moment what your life would be like if you truly embraced this truth. What would change if you knew beyond all doubt that you could be, do, or have anything you desire? How would you move through the world if you understood that every person and circumstance in your life was there in response to your own consciousness? The possibilities are endless. You could reshape your body, transform your relationships, revolutionize your career, manifest abundance beyond your wildest dreams. There is no limit to what you can create once you understand and apply this principle. But it requires a shift in consciousness, a willingness to let go of old beliefs and embrace a new understanding of your standing or place in the universe. It demands that you release your attachment to the evidence of your senses and place your faith in the unseen reality of your imagination. This is not always easy. The habits of a lifetime do not dissolve overnight. You may find yourself falling back into old patterns of thought and behavior. But each time you catch yourself, each time you choose to redirect your attention to the truth of your being, you grow stronger in your new understanding. Remember, the outer world is a reflection of your inner state. If you find yourself facing challenges or setbacks, do not despair. These are simply opportunities for you to clarify your desires and strengthen your resolve. They are invitations to go deeper into the truth of who you really are. Every experience, whether perceived as positive or negative, is a gift. It is showing you where your consciousness is focused, revealing to you the beliefs and assumptions that are shaping your reality. Use these experiences as feedback, a signpost guiding you back to your true power. The practice of living from the end requires patience and persistence. You are reprogramming your subconscious mind, overriding years of conditioning with a new understanding of reality. This takes time, but the results are nothing short of miraculous. As you continue to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, as you persist in the assumption that you are who you want to be, you will begin to see evidence of new reality manifesting around you. Circumstances will align, opportunities will appear, people will enter your life, all in perfect harmony with your new self-concept. But do not make the mistake of looking to the outside world for confirmation of your inner work. The outer must conform to the inner, but it does so in its own time and in its own way. Your job is simply to maintain the feeling of the wish fulfilled, to live as though your desire has already been realized. This is where most people falter. They begin the work, they imagine their desire, they even manage to feel it as real feeling. But then they look to the outside world, and not seeing immediate results, they give up. They conclude that it doesn't work, never realizing that their lack of faith is precisely what prevented their desire from manifesting. Faith is not something you have, it is something you do. It is the active assumption that what you desire is already yours. It is the conviction that what you have imagined is more real, more true than what your senses are showing you. This kind of faith can move mountains, it can part seas, it can transform a life of lack and limitation into one of abundance and joy. But it requires dedication, it demands persistence, it calls for a willingness to stand firm in your conviction, even when the whole world seems to be telling you otherwise. Remember, the world you see now is the result of your past thoughts and beliefs. It is the harvest of seeds planted long ago. As you begin to plant new seeds in the fertile soil of your imagination, as you nurture them with the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you must be patient. Allow them time to grow, to take root, to break through the surface of your current reality. During this time, it may seem as though nothing is happening. The temptation to give up, to return to your old ways of thinking, will be strong. This is the moment when your faith is tested, when your commitment to your new understanding is challenged. But if you can persist, if you can maintain your assumption even in the face of apparent contradiction, you will witness a transformation so profound that it will seem like magic to those who do not understand the law by which you are operating. You will watch as your world rearranges itself to match your inner vision. People will respond to you differently, opportunities will present themselves, circumstances will align in ways you could never have planned or anticipated. And all of this will happen not through struggle or effort, but through the natural operation of universal law. This is the promise held within this message. It is the key to unlocking a life beyond your wildest dreams. But it requires a leap of faith, a willingness to trust in the unseen, to believe in the power of your own imagination. Most will ignore this message. They will dismiss it as fantasy, as wishful thinking, as yet another empty promise in a world full of disappointment. But for those who are ready, for those who can feel the truth of these words resonating in their very soul, it holds the potential to change everything. You stand now at a crossroads. Before you lies the path of limitation, of struggle, of living at the mercy of circumstances. It is the path most traveled, the one that society has conditioned you to follow. It is safe, familiar, and utterly devoid of magic. But there is another path, one that few dare to tread. It is the path of unlimited possibility, of conscious creation of living, delighting being that you truly are. It is a path that requires courage, that demands faith, that calls you to step into your true power. The choice is yours. You can continue to live as you have been, accepting the world as it appears to be. Or you can embrace this message, this truth, and begin the greatest adventure of your life, the journey of conscious creation. Remember, you are not bound by your past, by your circumstances, or by what others believe to be possible. You are limited only by your own imagination and your willingness to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. So I ask you now, what world do you wish to create? What life do you desire to live? What version of yourself do you long to become? Hold that vision in your mind. Feel it as real. Know it as truth. For in that moment of assumption, in that act of faith, you set in motion forces beyond your comprehension. You are the operant power in your world. You are the author of your own story. You are the creator of your own reality. This is the truth that most would ignore, but it is the truth that has the power to change everything. Embrace it. Become it. For in doing so, you step into the fullness of who you truly are, a divine being, infinite in potential, unlimited in possibility. This is your birthright. This is your true nature. This is the reality that awaits you if you have the courage to claim it. The world is waiting for you to awaken to your true power. It is longing for you to step into your role as a conscious creator. For as you transform your own life, you contribute to the transformation of all of humanity. Each person who awakens to this truth, who begins to live from this understanding, becomes a beacon of light in a world of shadows. They demonstrate through their own experience the unlimited potential that lies within each and every human being. Imagine a world where everyone understood this truth, where each person recognized their power as a creator. What kind of world would we create together? What miracles would we witness? What heights of achievement, of love, of harmony would we reach? This is the promise held within this message. It is not just about transforming your individual life, although that is where it begins. It is about participating in the evolution of human consciousness, about contributing to the awakening of our entire species. But it starts with you. It starts here now, in this moment of decision. Will you ignore this message, dismissing it as too good to be true? Or will you embrace it, allowing it to ignite within you the flame of possibility? The choice is yours. But know this, the very fact that you are hearing these words, that you have stayed with this message to this point, is no accident. You have called this knowledge to you, drawn it from the infinite field of possibility through your own readiness to receive it. You are ready for this truth. You are prepared to step into your power as a creator. You are on the threshold of a new life, a new understanding, a new way of being in the world. So take this message to heart. Let it sink deep into your consciousness. Allow it to transform your understanding of yourself and your place in the universe. For in doing so, you set in motion a chain of events that will reshape your entire world. Remember, the power is within you. The kingdom is within you. All that you seek, all that you desire, all that you long to be, it is already yours. You need only claim it, embrace it, live from it. This is the truth that most will ignore. But for you, dear listener, it is the key that will unlock the door to a life beyond your wildest dreams. It is the message that will change everything. So go forth now, armed with this knowledge, empowered by this understanding. Create boldly, life fully, love deeply. For you are the author of your own story, the creator of your own reality, the master of your own destiny. And in embracing this truth, in living from this understanding, you become a light unto the world, a beacon of hope, a living testament to the unlimited potential that resides within each and every human being. This is your moment. This is your time. This is your invitation to step into the fullness of who you truly are. Will you accept it? Will you embrace it? Will you allow it to transform your life and through you the world? The choice is yours. But know this, the universe is waiting with bated breath for your decision. For in your awakening, in your embrace of your true power, lies the seed of transformation for all of humanity. So choose wisely, choose boldly, choose now. For in this moment, in this decision, lies the power to change everything. And that dear listener, is a power beyond measure, a gift beyond price, a truth beyond imagination. Embrace it, live it, become it. For in doing so, you fulfill your destiny, you claim your birthright, you step into the truth of who you really are. And in that moment, everything changes, everything. The power to change your life lies within you. Your imagination shapes reality. What you assume and feel to be true will manifest. Most dismisses as fantasy clinging to limitation. But you can choose different. Embrace your true nature as a creator. Live from the end, feeling your desires as already fulfilled. Your inner state creates your outer world. Persist in faith even when circumstances seem unchanged. This truth can transform everything. You are not bound by the past or others' beliefs. You are limited only by your imagination and willingness to assume your wish fulfilled. What life do you wish to create? Hold that vision, feel it as real. You set forces in motion beyond comprehension. You are the author of your story, the creator of your reality. This message holds the key to unlimited possibility. Will you ignore it or embrace your power? The choice is yours, but you are ready for this truth, prepared to step into your creative power. Let this understanding transform you. Create boldly, live fully, love deeply, become a light to the world, demonstrating humanity's potential. This is your moment to claim who you truly are. The universe awaits your decision. In embracing your power lies the seed of transformation for all. Choose now. For in this moment is the power to change everything. Embrace it, live it, become it. Fulfill your destiny as a conscious creator. And in that moment, everything changes. Everything.